Hello and welcome back to Time with Dr. Harris. I'm so glad you've chosen to spend time with me, and I'm hoping that you'll find my series on Beauty of the Woman and introduce you to various women. In my book, Beauty of the Woman, we're dealing with different women, and one of the things I do want you to go back to look at in my previous podcast is the one I dealt with when we did healing, no, domestic violence, where I had a young lady on dealing with violence. I hope that you go back and look at that, please. And I dealt with courtship and dating. But this time we're dealing more with becoming a woman of purpose, sexuality. And today we're dealing with strength of the single parent. I want to introduce you to my guest. Her name is Engja Ndiaye. She's the owner and founder of the Giving Other Resources Education Empowerment, and she'll be able to tell you more about that insurance agency. She's a highly skilled and versatile woman with more than over 15 years of business experience. Her specialties include identifying, developing, and implementing business methods to increase organizational performance. Ing is passionate about being part of the insurance industry because it provides her with a platform to enhance her community. Whether instilling core values in her 3 children, volunteering in the local community, mentoring or running her life insurance agency, Ing has made it her life mission to make her local and global community a better place. She has extensive knowledge in the areas of risk management, training, development, and marketing. As an insurance trailblazer, she has a thorough understanding of a wide variety of insurance products, including life, auto, homeowners, medical, disability, employee benefits, and retirement planning. The vision and mission of this agency, insurance agency, which I want her to bring it out even more so, is abbreviation is GOREE, but it's Giving Other Resources Education Empowerment, reflects Ing's core values, expertise, and commitment. I want you to welcome my guest, Engja Ndiaye. Come aboard.
Hello. Hey.
See you. And I am so excited that you are with us. It's just so important, as women, just being women alone is something that we need to understand who we are and whose we are. But then we need to identify ourselves. But then when we start walking in our strengths, it really brings us out even more. And one of the things why, when the Lord was showing me how when women are raising children, the strength that they have to do that, but even more so when you're single as a parent and raising all your 3 children are males, aren't they?
Yes.
All 3 males. And that's empowering, to believe this or not. I have found through my journey of life that the majority of males are raised by, especially in the Black race, raised by females, single moms.
Yes.
We have, back in the day, we had some strong, powerful leaders among our males, and that's empowered by a lot of women. I'm not saying that it's not God's plan for you to be able to do that with a husband or whatever, but to show, even women who are married, the power of what they do, to show the strength behind the woman has to be acknowledged. I'm sorry. You are some powerful somebody. So, Ing, tell us a little bit about how, as a single mom, you were able to do that. And being a businesswoman with your own business. How do you do that?
It's just something that you do. I don't think I've ever really thought about it because I didn't have a choice, like I can't give my kids back and I can't, stay in an unhealthy relationship. So it's just something that you wake up and it's just automatic. It's not something you can decide, oh, I don't want to parent today.
But but a lot of women nowadays are doing that.
Yes.
They are giving up their children. They are not deciding to have children. They are leaving them. I mean, it's huge. adoption and all that is huge among Blacks. And so
Yes.
you said you don't have a choice, but you did. And you chose.
Right.
You chose to stay, have those children, to stay with
Mhm.
those children, whether your relationship was working or not. You chose to be able to impart into those children. I'm sorry, but you did choose.
Yes, I did. I didn't think of it as a choice,
Yes.
but I did choose. And what was important for me when I was with their fathers was I wanted them to see a healthy relationship.
That's good. That's good.
And when I got to the point where we were not exhibiting that
Yes.
through arguing
Yes.
and fighting and just berating each other and things like that, I did not want my boys to think that that was normal.
That's good.
And that's how they could treat women.
That's good.
So I had to weigh the odds. Do I want their dad to be in their life every day, even though it's toxic? Or am I going to take a chance, trust God that He will give me the strength and
Yes.
the empowerment that I need to raise them and show them a different lifestyle? And so
You
I
have
got the
encouraged-
courage to leave.
Good. Okay. Okay. That's a big
Mhm.
deal. That's a big
Mhm.
deal because I also did a series on codependency, dysfunctional family,
Yes.
violence. So you could have stayed in that
Yes.
because sometimes we just want that man to be by us no matter how it's going. But you said no. You okay? Your self-esteem had to have something to do with it. You must have had a great self-esteem to say, I deserve better than this.
Yes. Well, you know what? I will say, yeah, your self-esteem does have something to do with it, but I didn't feel that confident in that or that strong at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But I was to the point where I was so fed up that I just was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And once I made that decision, when I tell you everything fell into place, so like seamlessly.
Oh my goodness.
Like the person who I was renting my office space for, I said, I really need a place to go. I have to leave. He was like, here's the keys. I have a townhouse in Bexley. You don't have to pay a deposit. You can move in right now, like today, if you want to, and just the favor, had a garage, had very nice townhome.
Yes.
And I was just like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. I just opened my mouth and I asked, because a closed mouth don't get fed.
That's true.
So, and then that started the ball rolling. And I said, okay, God got me and I got this, and I'm going to make the decision to go ahead. And I was moving on my own. I was on commission, so I did not have a steady salary paycheck. It was, and I was just like, oh, I was scared. But I heard someone say that your heaven is on the other side of your comfort zone. See, sometimes we get stuck in our comfort zone and we're scared to go outside of it.
Yes.
But we don't know that if we would take that step out on faith, that our heaven is right there. Everything we're looking for, everything we need, it's right there. But we have to get past the fear to trust God to go beyond our comfort zone. And so that played in my head many a day.
You don't understand how you're encouraging others right now. And so the kids, they were younger. So how were you able to have somebody help you and do all the different things you have to do in raising them?
Yes. So I have men in my life. Like my dad, my brother, my girlfriend's husbands, football coaches. Like I just really pulled from the community when I needed that. And some of the residue of, even though I've been single for over 10 years, some of that I still see the residue in my boys, especially the youngest one.
Yes.
And so I still like, I have a mentor for him. You know, I try to just put positive male role models in his life.
Yes.
So that it can counteract whatever residue that is still there from us being married.
Wow. That's
Mm-hmm.
powerful. That seems very intentional though, and purposeful.
Yes.
So
And they fight me on it. Sometimes they don't want to go, but they don't have a choice. They're gonna go.
Yeah. And so the thing that I want the audience to hear, what you just said, that you still put them in places to have mentors and males, positive male models for them, and to
Yes.
think of them as male children, which is very, very important. So do you do real talk with your children?
I'm sorry?
You do real talk, like you're sitting down with them and really talking to them about life or whatever?
Yes. Yes. And you know what? It's so funny because right now, my youngest, who is 14, who he is, I'm telling you, he has been, I think, the most challenging.
Okay.
And I think it's because he's the baby. He's been so super spoiled. My middle son says that he's just spoiled beyond belief, and that's why he talks back and feels like he has a say with things, and you got to negotiate with him and things like that. And so that's been a big struggle for me. So the mentorship program that I have him in right now, we were having a session, and the mentor said, you know, what if a police officer pulls you over? Are you going to talk back to him or her the way you do your mom? And my son was like, no, I'm not going to do that with no police officer. I know better than that. And the facilitator said, so why do you put a police officer in higher reverence than you do your own mother? So you will talk back to your mom, but you won't talk back to a police officer. And your mom is the one that's taking care of you, that loves you, that wants the best out of your life. But you don't see that same value in her as you do a police officer. He said, so do you see what we're going for right here, the dynamics of what you said and how you need to change your paradigm on how you view your mom versus how you view a stranger that you don't even know, because you're scared of what could happen with a police officer, but because you don't have that fear, which you should have either as much fear or more love for your mom to make you not want to do that. So, you know, when you called and asked me to do this, I'm like, oh, I don't feel like I'm in a position to talk about how great it is raising, you know, being a single mom, because I still have challenges. But what I do is I try not to be too hard on myself, because what I know is that everyone, I don't care who they are, is in the process of healing on some level. Whether it's mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, it's always something we can work on. So we have to allow ourselves grace, compassion, and mercy to just say, God, you know my heart, please give me the strength and give me the tools that I need to be a successful mom.
And you know, I need for you to know that I appreciate you being so honest, but the challenge doesn't end even when they get older. Because
not at all.
Well, it's because now they're making decisions, and there's some decisions might not be good. I'm talking about outside of your home, that you have to continue to pray and believe God for. What you're doing is planting the seeds. They're going to nurture because God's got you. But then they leave home, and it's like, okay, now what kind of decision they're going to make? So we never become still not being challenged, but we know how to pray. And that's the thing that we need to know as women, the power of prayer. And God hears our prayer. And I appreciate you saying that, because that's real. You know, I wasn't looking for everything to be everything.
Right.
Because that's not real.
Right.
Not real. But to know that you still are doing everything you can to be able to make your sons to be as great as that God has made them to be, and you pouring into them, and being a vessel to be used. I tell them all the time, we realize that God really hears your prayers and that we play a major role in our children's lives. We never know when it's going to hit,
Yes.
but it will, because that's a promise that God made to us, And so that 14-year-old was in a different generational time. How old is the middle one?
18.
Okay. So do you see a difference in the culture between each one nowadays as far as
Yes.
what's going on? Do you think that's making a difference in your younger child?
Yes. And I think the telephone and social media has played such a big in the video games,
Yes.
and trying to redirect him to experience life. Like, don't watch somebody else play a game on a video when you can go and play the game yourself.
Yes.
Yes. So, but it just has them so intrigued. I don't know what it is. It's hard. As soon as they get up, that's what he wants. That's the last thing he's doing before. So me trying to find balance and keep him in activity so that he does not depend on that phone so much is, I think, the biggest thing that I can do. So, having a schedule for him, putting him in different programs and letting him travel. He's been to Africa, he's been to Seattle. So trying to just broaden his horizons so that he knows that it's a lot more going on than what you're seeing on social media.
Yes, that's awesome.
And I heard someone say in China, on their TikTok, they see engineers, they see excellence, they see children being very progressive and inventive and creators. And then on our social media, we see fighting and police brutality and twerking and things like that. So they're not really getting fed what they could be getting fed on social media to pursue, I call Black excellence, because I can only speak for my race. I can't speak for nobody else's. So, so I have to in turn do what I can to put Black excellence in his face on a regular basis. So that when he leaves me, that's what he's going to know.
Yes.
How to be excellent.
What would you, in looking at your journey between all three sons, what would you do different? What would you have done different?
So I think I would have been more of a disciplinarian.
Okay.
Through my self-evaluation, when I was married, their father was kind of the disciplinarian. I didn't have to, I just say, I'm gonna tell your dad, and that's it. I didn't have to do anything. So I was kind of like a marshmallow because, I was the nurturer and I still am the nurturer. And so once our dynamics changed and now I had to be both, they didn't take me as serious. Like, Mom, come on, you're not really about that life. You're so sweet. You know what I mean? And so I do want them to think that I'm sweet, but sometimes I have to stand up and be like, put my foot down. Like, no, this is the bottom line and this is the way it's going to go. So it's kind of hard for me. That's one of my challenges, but I think I would have been more of a disciplinarian in their earlier years so that it wouldn't take so much effort in their later years.
Good, that's good. So in their coming along, how about them outside the home and their relationships? How was that with other people, friends or whatever? How were they?
Well, they all were pretty different. My middle son is kind of an introvert. So I didn't used to think he liked people at all. He just wanted to be to himself and, very quiet. But as he has gone to college, he's starting to open up. He's really changing right before my eyes. That comes with maturity and exposure and experiences and things like that. My other son, the youngest one, and the oldest one, they don't know a stranger. They will talk to anybody. So they're very extrovert. So they're fine with other people, but like I said, with the youngest one, he his challenge is boundaries and knowing that he is a child and not an adult. So he has to be in a child's place. That's hard for him.
Well, for the other two, when you look at what they're doing now, do you see seeds that were planted that you planted as they were growing up? Because God allows us to see that sometimes when they're away. Are you seeing that?
Yes, like for example, my oldest son, I've always been an entrepreneur and he is just walking in that vein. I mean, that is the core of him. Like he gets it honestly.
Yeah.
So they've never known me to work for someone else. They've
Yes.
always seen me have my own business and feast or famine, not give up.
Yes.
So
and then not give up. That's a
not give
powerful,
up.
that's a powerful thing right there for you not to give up. That's strengthening for your children. Like you said,
Yes.
feast or famine, I'm standing.
That's right.
powerful. That's the strength that I've always seen in you that I want other people to know about you.
Yes, thank you. And this is something because I never went to college. My oldest son went to Morehouse. My middle son is at Baldwin Wallace right now. And so as they have their experiences in college and they get exposed to different types of people, different ethnicities, and they feel like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I tell my son that what you're going through, you're not, never look at it as you're taking an L or a loss or, something bad. I said, you are taking an L, but it's a lesson so that you can learn how to navigate on a college level and then on a corporate level.
Yes.
If you have to.
Yes.
But just know that because of God's grace,
yes,
that you have a family business to come to.
And that's something.
I don't want you to give up. I don't want you to quit because I think that secondary education is important, even though I didn't get it. But know that I'm working hard to build something, a legacy for you to walk into. So find your journey, find your purpose, see what that looks like, but know in your back pocket, if you have to come home and be in this business, you can. And a lot of times in our community, we are not able to pass down.
Yes.
Or if we can, our children don't want to do it.
Right.
Other cultures, they say, hey, I own a law firm and you're going to be a lawyer. There's no discussion. Like you can't tell me no, really, because this is for you. And so getting our children to know that this is important in creating generational wealth.
Yes.
And being able to pass something down, assets and not liability.
Yes.
That they should not take that for granted.
Powerful. So I'm gonna separate you from a mom.
Okay.
And be the woman. So
okay.
In being a mother, sometimes we pour so much into our children that we forget who we are as women. So tell me how you dealt with that, who you are as a woman.
Yes. So it is, sometimes I don't deal with it well and sometimes I do, but what I've discovered was it's the little things that we do that make the big difference.
Okay.
So on the days that I don't give myself an hour before my day starts to meditate, read, exercise, and journal, those days are more challenging when I don't do that.
Okay.
Because that gives me a time to really pray. I do all of that in 1 hour.
Yes.
And so, read 20 minutes, exercise 20 minutes, meditate 15 minutes, and write something 5 minutes. And that really propels my day to like, okay, what do I have to do? It gives me energy. But when I skip that part, I feel more depleted or overwhelmed because I have so much to deal with.
Okay. Do you enjoy being a woman?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So you have males, which I love. I can have 100 sons easy. There's something special about the male. But so how do you talk to them about their respect for women?
Well, I mean, I think the core values that I have ingrained in them,
Okay.
I kind of feel like that should encompass dealing with just humans, period, whether
Okay.
it's a woman or a male.
Okay.
But, if there are incidents where girls are involved, I say, that's a woman or a girl, you can't do that. You have to be respectful.
Okay.
That you have a strength that women don't have.
Okay.
I don't care how big or strong she is, she does not have the strength of a male. So you cannot play with her as if she's one of the boys. You know what I mean? And so I have those conversations with them and I tell them, it only takes one female to accuse you of anything, whether you are guilty or innocent.
Mhm.
And now you have to spend your time defending yourself,
Right.
because they're automatically going to think that she's telling the truth, even if
Right.
she's not.
That's true.
So don't put yourself in a situation to where she can make any accusations or say that you've done anything inappropriate, so that we don't have to buy lawyers and spend
Right.
money and
Yes.
trying to defend you, and then you have all these other repercussions, because it does happen.
One of the things
So
I also admire is the fact that you do travel. Can you talk about that a little bit?
oh yeah, so I've been fortunate because I travel through the company that I represent,
Mhm.
and so they send us out the country like once a year, and we go to different places. And so I've probably been to about 15 different countries.
Wow.
Yes.
15.
And so it's exciting. It's exciting to see the world on a broader spectrum.
Wow. In 15.
Mhm.
I know it's that many.
Yes.
Well, that's wonderful. So you are so well-rounded.
Well,
And
thank
do
you.
you ever this is another part off the cuff. Do you ever get lonely and would like to be in a relationship?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And sometimes, when I have been with a partner, with a guy, I don't want to be strong. I want to be I want him to lead. I want him to be the one that's assertive, because in my life, in all the roles, I have to basically be the boss.
Yes.
I have to be in control. I have to
Yes.
make all the decisions.
Yes.
I have to, across the board, with my kids, with my business, I'm on committees and things like that. I'm chairing this or doing this. And when I'm in a relationship, I don't want to be that. I want to be not meek, but I just want to be laid back and not have to be strong all the time.
That's because that is what God has made us to be in. What you
Mm-hmm.
are wanting, desiring is what God's put inside us as women. And
Yes.
we don't, because we always have to be so strong, especially a
Mm-hmm.
lot of single women, especially a lot of Black women, that we don't know how to. What you just said was so real and so honest. If more women would say that, because I think our heart's desire is that I want you to lead, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't want you to lead me astray. I want you
Right.
to still love me and respect me and nurture me and all that kind of stuff. But I want to trust you enough that you will lead me.
Yes.
You
And
know?
and we hate to, I hesitated because I want to be submissive.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
but we take that out of connotation.
Yes.
But if you have a man who is worthy of your submission,
Yes.
then I don't have a problem with that. I'm okay with that. But he has to be worthy of it. He has to be a protector
Yes.
and be a provider and be
Yes.
all of those things that he is supposed to be, so that I don't have to worry and I can be in that place
Yes.
of being submissive and just letting my femininity
Yes.
come out. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
so I've had challenges because I am so independent
Mhm.
that I would go out on a date and I'm grabbing the door before he can. And he's like, you gonna let me can I open the door or do you have to do it? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, bear with me because I'm not used to it,
Right.
and it takes, I have like a little learning curve that when I'm in a relationship to try to not be so assertive, I guess, for lack of a better word.
But I think that is important for the man to understand why you are like that, why a lot of women
Yes.
are like that, and
Yes.
be sensitive to that and know that they're not trying to usurp over you, but this is what they've always had to do. And I think the males have to learn that because they can't expect you to all of a sudden now just back off when you're so used to having to open the door.
Yes.
You understand it and say, sweetheart, and then be consistent for you to be okay with that, But what I
Yes.
love about what you said is that your heart is still designed to have that. Not to be submissive. You really have the heart of God and what God has created as women to be. And you still have that, even though you are strong, even though you've always had to do a lot of things, even though you are raising sons, that you still in your heart that God has made you to be, to want that which God created us to be.
Right.
That's powerful.
Yes.
Powerful. You represent the heart of, you represent, and what an example you are for women, not only as an entrepreneur, as a mom, as a relation, all the things you talk about. And as much as I've known you, to be able to experience some of the things you say or hearing some of the things that you're saying makes me think even more of you. What a wonderful, beautiful, powerful woman you are. And I'm so glad that you were able to be here and to represent. And I'm hoping that you, audience, will really continue to hear what is being said that I'm representing in the podcast, because I'm trying to empower you in every way I can. And what an example you're having before you as a guest of Engja Ndiaye.
Engja.
I think it's so important to respect people's names, you know what I mean?
Yes, thank you.
But isn't she an awesome, awesome woman? And I thank you so much for representing the strength of a single parent.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness. And a powerful woman of God. I mean, wow. Wow. And a mom. And believe this or not, I want to encourage you with the seeds that are being planted in your sons. You will be able to see them be nurtured and grow, because God promised that to us. And don't stop praying for your sons. Let them know you're there. And I'm so glad that you are taking time for yourself at 15 countries. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So there's even more about you than I even realized. Well, we want to thank you again for being a guest on our show. And,
thank you.
Tell your friends about it, subscribe.
Yes.
Like, or whatever, how all this goes. For me, I'm just here doing what I do, all those other things. But I'm just saying what a representation that you are. And I thank you. I'm thanking you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
You enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
Okay, you too.
Be blessed. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.